and welcome to the program Let's Talk with Alice, coming to you live on Leon TV, channel 232. Let's Talk with Alice is a program that looks into current happenings in and out of the country, profiling of individuals, institutions, sports, entertainment, and many more. I am Cecilia Alice Sesay. Now, today in Let's Talk with Alice, we are looking at the topic journalism in the fight against COVID 19. As we all know, Sierra Leone recorded its first index case on the 31st of March 2020, and then we've been moving on with the COVID 19. We've had times wherein we have increase in new cases, we have decrease in new cases, but then we still have the disease in our country. Now, to take us through the drive of how journalism has been during this COVID 19, I'm in the studio with one of Sierra Leone's finest journalists from the Freetown Television Network, who is Moses J. Lavalley Jr. Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk with Alice.
Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning to listeners and viewers.
Okay, so how have you been?
Um, well, I've been doing good. All praises to God.
Generally, in journalism, you've been working throughout this trying time for Sierra Leone and the world at large. How has journalism been to you in this time?
Well, it like journalism or for journalists, it like a trained military personnel or I would say police or let's say the forces. We always trained for us to face whatever the case might be, whether it be good or bad. So the same as for us journalists. So when COVID struck into or entered into Sierra Leone, we were part of. Even though we will not say we were the frontliners, but we were part of those frontliners in the fight against COVID 19. So it was actually a difficult one, but of course, we strive hard, we worked well, we did our level best to ensure we report the genuinity about COVID 19 or the realities about COVID 19. But actually, in a nutshell, it wasn't an easy task for us.
I know. Especially, I'm thinking of the invention of the new media, I mean, social
Sure. Yeah.
media. We have a lot of people now can have access to smartphones, electronic devices, and so we have people doing their own citizen journalism in their corner as well. How has that affected journalism in the fight against COVID 19?
Well, it has affected journalism, real journalism, I would say, mainstream journalism or the media itself, in both ways, positive and out of the negative aspect. So I don't know which one do you actually want us to look at, but
Just look at it generally.
generally,
Yeah.
okay. So it has created a fine space or a fine platform for us mainstream journalists. I could recall when we had the incident of the when a vehicle went down the Congo Cross Bridge, there were no media houses or journalists there at that particular time. And of course, we have other incidents that have occurred in Sierra Leone or beyond Sierra Leone where the presence of a media practitioner would not be there or was not there. So, both the support of these citizen journalists, you see they get a caption or take a short video clips or pictures of the incidents, and you see they upload it, be it Facebook, but mostly Facebook and a lot of WhatsApp. So for us, journalists, we have to go through or see some of these things, then we have to follow or to go through this information to know where this actual incidents occur. Likewise, again, we've seen also incidents like accidents along the highway where we have no journalists might not be applying any of these route, but we have people, villagers or community people or even other pedestrians using the highway. When they see some of these incidents, they will have to take a clip or picture of whatever the incident is, and you see they no sooner they will upload it. So that's the positive side of it. Where we are not or where our presence are not felt, they will have to call or they have to draw the attention of mainstream media. They will have to follow. The only negative aspect of it is that we as professional journalists, we are being trained properly and we've been nurtured properly. We know the way and manner we are to report some certain incidents. Yeah, you don't just report something just like that without getting the different sides, or you have ethics in doing it. So they lack this ethics. Yeah, so that's just the negative aspect of it. And of course, as for journalists, we there are certain information we don't just capture the scene and just publish just like that. There are some ones you have to go through editorial policies. You have to do some checks, some balance. You have to do some calls before you can publish. Whilst for these citizen journalists, they do not know all of this. No sooner they get a caption of or a footage or a clip of anything, they will just upload. So that's a negative aspect of it. So
Okay.
mainstream journalists or this new media has actually played two-sided goals,
Mm.
positive role and that of negative
So
role.
now, speaking of checks and balances from the mainstream media, how have you been able um, to maintain the atmosphere? With this new media, we've seen a lot of instances of fake news
Sure.
going around. That's because they do not check and balance um, their news sources. So I can recall there was a time when there was a rumor going around social media that COVID-19 people are all over schools giving vaccines to students, and there was a tragic incident over that wherein a parent lost their life when the news came home to her, telling her that your child had been given um, the COVID-19 vaccine. So, how has the mainstream media been able to tackle the aspect of fake news going across social media?
That has always been the difficult part of journalism, because not just to citizen journalists who do publish news no sooner they see it or the way they receive it, be it factual, well balanced, or whether it is through or there is it's fake. Not just citizen journalists, but sometimes even people who call themselves professional journalists, they do publish fake information, because I don't know, but let me don't judge that part. But there are ethics, as I made mention, about the way you do your news or the way you gather the news itself. You have to do all the necessary work that needs to be done. Like for example, there is an allegation that in your show or your program you doing, you are too biased, you do this or that. That's the voice of the people. That's comments or that's feedback from the people. Okay, I can get the inside of the story, but what I need to do is to come again to get in touch with you. Cecilia, this and this and what have been said about you and your show, how to at that. So for you now to say you respond, whether you respond or not, or let's say you respond, the respond you will give will determine, or we turn the attention of the people that actually what people were saying it is true, or what people are saying it is not true. So these are things we need to learn. But the issue about fake news, that's where most especially these new media have always played a negative part, where they don't do proper checks, they don't do proper um, go through scrutiny the way they get the information. No sooner there's information they get, they just publish. And of course, this has been a difficult thing and a difficult time. Les, you made mention about parents who passed away due to fake news, and that parent was the wife of a media practitioner also. So we've been seeing, and I think there are lessons learned now. The side effects of fake news. So be it a professional journalist, be it because it is difficult for us now to say let's stop citizen journalism. Yeah, so but because we can't stop it, so let's educate them. When you see something of such nature, if you don't have a proof, not because it is being sent to you by somebody you know, or a friend, or a forum where you are in Facebook or on WhatsApp, you publish. No, it shouldn't be like that. You have to check, you have to consult. Let's say, for example, there's an information about this your show, or you the presenter. If you can't access Alice or the show itself, find people who are closer to Alice or workmates to Alice to try to confirm. And I was once taught in college that if there is an information, people always run to you media practitioners, to us media practitioners. Example, Salonge ko how soon are they be? I've been told that if I'm not sure, if I don't have no idea, I'm without no idea about it, the best I could say, okay, I'll do a check, then anything I'll get back to you, rather than give an information that I'm not certain of.
So, do you think it is all of this issue, as a result of all of these issues, fake news, that's prompted the government to come up with the cyber bill, the proposed cyber bill now?
Yes, the cyber bill, fake news. I couldn't say yes 100%, but the cyber bill itself, cyber, these are certain crimes people do commit using the internet. We use the internet or the media itself to either I would say blaspheme people or to cheat people. So it's not just to pass on fake information, but even we see people even using their phones to say, Alice is a text you've won so certain things from any of these cell codes we have in the country.
Yeah.
These are all crimes that we need to tackle. So it's actually a good thing for us to get a cyber bill that we it's like a speed bump along the highway or along the roads. There are no roads without signs on it. Every road there are signs on it. These signs are communicating to us what and what we need to do, where we need to take a check, where we need to ride at 30 kilometers, 30 per speed of 40 or beyond that. These signs are all on the road. Where there is a crosswalk, normally it is being called a zebra cross. These are all signs on the road. So it is very important for pedestrians, for us to use blind the road. So likewise, for us again as journalists, for us again as citizens, most of us have been suffered. We have suffered from cyber crimes. So it is necessary for us to get a cyber bill, also ensure that the bill is for the safety of people and not for the side of government, for every one of us. So it is good for us to get a good cyber bill.
Quickly before we take a break, how do you assess citizens' cooperation to the mainstream journalism um, in this fight against COVID-19? In a sense, has have they been cooperating with you guys? How you try to pass on the right information, as in sensitizing people through the media? How do you see their cooperation in this fight against COVID-19?
Not just with COVID-19. For example, that's a great gift we have as a nation, Sierra Leone. We have people who are always ready to give support when we deem it necessary for them to give support. Let's go back again when it's time for when we had the civil war. We saw Sierra Leoneans going checking on the neighbors or next door if they're safe. Whenever we cross over the night, you have one or two people coming to check. Una okay, I wanna sleep. So, so that have been a great thing. Of course, we saw again when we had Ebola. Before you get the presence of the medical people, the emergency team, you see citizens or community people will have to come on board, try to do the necessary arrangements, or even you might see them. I might not be the affected person, you might be the affected person, but you will say, I'll come, okay, maybe I'll call 117 for you, so then go come. So this is the support citizen has always been given. So like we come again to the issue about COVID-19 again. We've actually, the citizens have actually do their best and to ensure they collaborate with governments and everybody who are involved in the fight against COVID-19. They've tried, and even though, because all depends on the kind of information governments give out to them. When government give out the correct information to the people, you see the way they will receive it. But if government is playing with the information, you will see again the way the people are receiving it. So, but I think COVID-19 was really a challenge for us all. We as citizens were actually not even confident if we even have COVID-19 in Sierra Leone. But the few that believe in it, they play their own parts into us ensuring we fight against COVID-19.
All right, in case you're just joining us, you're watching and listening to the program Let's Talk with Alice, coming to you live on Leon TV, channel 232. And in the program today, we have been discussing journalism in the fight against COVID-19. And I'm still in the studio with Moses J. Lavalley Jr., a journalist from the Freetown Television Network. Well, we're going to take a short music break, and when we come back, we're going to continue the program. Stay with us.
Sentiments on this. I'm on the bed. Here we go. Hey, you both come here. This life where they live so na ya ya. We dey eat healthy with no barrier. If money they make we fire. We no come for no play. Yeah. Mr. DJ replay. Yeah. We no mix band delay. Yeah. Make man then go crazy. Sexy baby move that thing now want somebody. Oh. But What's on top? Let's pop something. We need somebody, oh. Not all the time for story, oh. So make we spend this money, oh. No darling moment. No darling moment. No darling moment. We the lights up and lights up and lights up and lights. Party all night, we celebrating. We live in the highway, jubilating. Free in the wild, we elevating. Give me that thing, make a put some fire. With the pop bottles, pop bottles. With the drink and chat, so say money. Only old, make a only old. Only old, make a only old. Only old.
Right, welcome back from that short music break. The program you're watching to is Let's Talk with Alice, coming to you live on Leon TV, channel 232. And then we're still in the studio with Moses J. Lavalo Jr., a journalist from the Freetown Television Network. Let's continue the program. We are still discussing journalism in the fight against COVID-19. So now we are going to take a look at the trend journalism has been in this fight, and what other options do journalists have? What other things that they haven't done to help in the fight against COVID-19? So that is it. Let's start from that angle. First of all, what has been your strive? What has journalists done during this time of COVID-19?
Well, our primary goal is to disseminate information, accurate information, well balanced information, and which we've played our own part as media practitioners, as media institutions, different platforms. We've done our own level best, and we're still doing our own level best to ensure we don't just give information to the people, but give the right information to the people. We've been watching other media institutions in the country, you will notice that different institutions had different talk shows, programs on COVID-19. These are programs to update the people, to educate the people, and also encourage the people to come and join the fight against COVID-19. Because if there is a fight, if the people don't join the fight, then it's a fight we're not going to win. So for us to win the fight, you need to bring the people on board. So these programs were also there again to encourage the people, to educate the people. Also, we have, even for our own institution, we are doing a program. We have different people who've been doing donations, people who've been going around the country educating the public, people who've been going around the country to ensure those quarantine homes have food. So we bring them on board for them to talk about, to also be medical practitioners also, because the entire thing about COVID-19 was that it was a fishy thing, which we are even WHO, I could say, they were not even certain how, what is this particular thing called COVID-19, how are we to fight against COVID-19. So people were just saying this were saying this, that. So what these media do, they ensure we get the right people to come and talk, to come and educate the people about COVID-19. So a lot have been done by media practitioners, likewise media institutions.
Okay. A lot of people claim that, you know, journalists, they actually shuffle the news. In a sense, there are certain situations they go to, they actually know the situation, but possibly because of one or two forces or reasons, they would have to choose on what news they publish and what not to publish. Especially in this COVID-19, there were a lot of things that people claimed were happening in these quarantine homes, but journalists did not put these things in the media, reason best known to them. So what do you have to say about that?
In journalism, we have different folds in journalism. We have developmental journalists. If you're a developmental journalist, all you set out or all you published are just positive things about your community, the society, or whatsoever you do, the good side of it. That's for developmental journalists. And we also have critic journalists. All what they do is to criticize what people do, what government does. That's the role. So we have these different kind of journalists or media institutions. So that depends on what they intend to do, or their primary focus, or their primary goal. So to the issue about where people are making mention about media institution or journalists and picking the information they gather, well, that depends on what the journalist is planning to publish. Yeah, for example, I want to secure the good name of government, or I don't want to sell out negative things. Yes, it is good for us to publish the reality. We publish what we see, but that's the secret side of journalism. That's the theater side of journalism. The editorial team, we have to decide. The media institution, we have to decide. Let's do this. Let's publish this. Let don't publish this. That's their own thing. That's the society. So there we have to determine. The public will not determine what actually they want. The media institution will determine what they want. So example, whenever we do our news, we might get, let's say for example, let's say 10 news per day. Yeah. But we primarily focus on 6 news each and every other day. Now if we're having 10 news per day, we have to determine the 6 that we have to play on that day and the 4 we have to keep. That will be determined by the producer and the media itself. So we weigh the stories and determine which one we're going to play today and which one we're going to keep. So likewise, the same thing that's also happened. If we go to quarantine homes, we go to medical facilities, we saw reality things happening there, or things the government will come out and say that are not present in these places. We have to bring them to our office. We have to look and say, no, let's do this or don't do that. But that's a societal thing.
So, in any way, do you agree that there is no objectivity in journalism?
But that based on the
I mean,
points,
total
the
objectivity.
points you coming at, there have always been, it is always present. Therefore, there is always the presence of journalists being objective. Yeah, because it depends. That's why I said it depends on what your focus are. What are your focus? So if my focus is to promote government items, you will not say we are not objective. If our own focus is to only publish human interest stories, you will not say we are biased, in fact. So it depends on what's our primary focus.
Okay. All right. As we wrap up, what other thing do you think journalism or journalists in Sierra Leone would have taken into consideration in this fight against COVID-19? What's that thing that they haven't done that you think if that would have been done, at least there would have been a different story about COVID-19 by now?
Well, we are not actually the exact frontline workers. The medical people are the frontliners. So the entire thing about COVID-19 must be focused towards these frontliners. Like for the media or journalists, all we need, like I was part of a workshop organized by the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists. That was a fine one. It was a workshop geared towards training journalists on the way and manner how we are to gather information and how we are to publish information. That was a fine workshop. So that was a fine training. So that shows the difference, that contrast between us and that of citizen journalists. Let me say I might be on the way going home. Then I see someone fighting, struggling with COVID-19, and that individual lying on the floor, half naked. If I would take the clip, I will have to do some blur on the editing aspect for the naked side of that individual not to show. So, or if someone is fighting for a medical something, because there's some medical ethics again, you don't just public someone's medical updates or results. So these things also, the media need more training. But as the case arises, we were like novice when we had COVID-19, unless we have to go through Google, we have to check WHO or other websites for us to educate ourselves to gain knowledge about the exact thing about COVID-19. So I think SLAGE and other national journalism bodies, we need this usual training, most especially for young journalists coming up, because they need to learn, because it's all about the experience you have in you, or how you observe the way we do journalism in Sierra Leone and how journalism is being done in other parts of the world. So there are more training are needed for media practitioners and also the media owners, because the way and manner they determine on what they are focused on. Sometimes SLAG needs to come on board, IMC needs to come on board to do some check and balance. We've seen where even media houses will publish information that are not correct. They will not do the necessary things that needs to be done. So that's why bodies in charge of media institutions or media practitioners, we need training. Training is very, very vital and very, very essential, most especially when it comes to the aspects of medical aspects, it comes to other aspects, agriculture. You see, we lack reporters in all of this field. So I think we have more reporters publishing promotional news, not rather than human interest, agriculture, medical stuff, because of we lack the know-how. So that's that.
Okay, so quickly as we wrap up, do you have anything to say?
Yes. People of the knowledge or the saying that journalism sabi everything. No, we not sabi all thing. The reason why we go for interviews, the reason why we go to the markets or to different communities for us to do vox pop to get the voice of the people is for us to get the actual information and give back to those who are new or don't know nothing about what is actually happening. So we have to be patient with us. We are not perfect. We are just humans like you people watching us daily or listening to us daily or reading our writings on magazines or newspapers. So you have to be patient with us, come together, support us wherever there is an incident. Make sure in your community, try to identify those who are media practitioners. It is very, very important. So no sooner you have fake news or you have any news that you are not sure about, you can contact this particular media practitioner. So because people see the media practitioners as enemies, I don't know why. We need to be friends. We need to be like family. So whenever there's a situation, you can contact us. We can give you guys the accurate or the real information that is needed.
Okay, okay. I love that part. People see media people as
Sure,
enemies. Okay, don't see them as enemies anymore. Just see them as your best friends.
sure.
But it's like people fear the camera a lot.
Yeah, sometimes people are shy of the camera.
All right. So thank you very much, Moses J. Lavalley Jr.
It's a
It's been a
pleasure.
pleasure having you.
Likewise.
Would love to have you in our subsequent
Always,
episodes.
always.
All right, so viewers and listeners, this is how we come to an end of today's episodes on Let's Talk with Alice. As always, Let's Talk with Alice brings you issues that has to do with current happenings in and out of the country. We look at profiling of individuals, institutions. We look at sport, entertainment, and many more. So continue to stay with us. Should in case you missed this episode, you can go through our online Facebook and Instagram pages and YouTube pages, all Let's Talk with Alice. So you can go there and drop a comment, and we'll surely respond to all of those. So to meet again in our subsequent episodes, I am Cecilia Alice Sesay. Have a blessed weekend.